Daring Abroad is brought to you by our friends at Remitly. Download the Remitly app to send money back home. Greetings from the UK. Now today we're privileged to host Corporal Kisila Mawia, a member of the British Army and chairman of the Association of Kenyans currently serving in the British Army as well as veterans. But before we get right into it, here are the highlights. He's a corporal in the British Army, the chair of an association of Kenyan veteran and serving members of Her Majesty's Forces, and a part-time DJ with his own entertainment company.
My desire has always been to join the military. Na hii kitu ilitoka from since I was in primary school.
Yes, Corporal Kisila Mawia gears up to share his experience on the front lines.
Nimeenda Canada, nimeenda France, Afghanistan, nimekuwa Germany itself.
Great, let's now go right into Corporal Mawia's story. It is a cold Sunday morning in Dorset County, southwest England.
Oh, is it? Yeah, no, Konganga Risasa.
Yes.
Cool. Eh?
Residents gather at the War Memorial for Remembrance Day, an event that happens every year in the month of November and observed by member states of the Commonwealth. Leading the public are some members of Her Majesty's Forces, among them Kenyan-born militaryman Mawia Kisila.
Remembrance Day is just a time whereby we remember the fallen soldiers. Going back to history, during the First World War, the war ended on the 11th day of the 11th month. So every 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we hold a 1 minute silence to remember the fallen soldiers.
All of those who fell for their country in the 1914-1918 conflict, from Hazelbury Bryan, Edwin Burge, Jim Chapman.
This is very pertinent because also members of Kenya served in those wars, the First World War and the Second World War. We have the Carrier Corps people who were part of the British Army who fought Germans in Kenya, Tanzania and East Africa. And also my grandfather served in the King's African Rifles in the Second World War. He served in Burma and in Egypt. And not only him, members in my local village and also the Kikuyus. If you look also, some of the Mau Mau members were former members of the King's African Rifles who actually fought in Second World War. So we have Africans who lost their lives. So part of that is just remembering them and saying thank you to what they did. And it's just a way of keeping the next generation always knowing because of your future, they gave their past.
This is Kisila's 14th year as a member of the British Army.
First of all, you start as a recruit and you first pass phase 1 and phase 2 training. When you pass that, you go back to your battalion, start as a private soldier. You go to Lance Corporal. Corporal is actually same as Kenya Army. A sergeant, as we call ours, Color Sergeant, but in Kenya wanaita Sergeant Major. And then there's W2, then W1. That is private, junior non-commissioned officers and senior non-commissioned officers. And then you have the commissioned officers who are the second lieutenants, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, full colonel, brigadier, lieutenant general, major general, and then there's a full general. And then with us, the commander-in-chief is Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. Unlike in Kenya, where it is His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta or the current serving president who becomes the commander-in-chief.
So how did the son of Machakos end up in one of the strongest armies in the world?
My father was in the army. Nikiwa class 4 when I was 10 years old, nakumbuka the army commander came to Kahawa Garrison Primary School to just check how the school was. And I saw people around him and I was like, I really like this and I want to join. My desire ilikuwa ni kuingia jeshi. I wanted to be that man. So I remember in 2000 and nikimaliza high school 2003. So 2004 I embarked in joining the Kenya Defence Forces. Lakini as you understand the bureaucracy inakuwaga pale home, I was not able. And then
despite your father's having been in forces, people would think it would just be, automatic.
It was not automatic. I have actually a cousin of mine who's older than me. He tried for over 4 years and on the 5th year ndio aliingia. Yet babangu alikuwa jeshi, a senior officer. My father has a brother as well, alikuwa another senior officer. It's not as easy as ABCD, but because I was not able and my father saw the desire for me to join, akaniambia ni join the British Army. Nikamuuliza who are they? Akaniambia go and find out. Only later ndio nilikuja kurealize in 2001 and 2003 my dad aliserve na British Army akiwa Kenya Army, alikuwa nao Sierra Leone for peacekeeping mission. So nikakuja, I did everything. 2006 I applied for the first time, nilinyimwa because of visa. 2007 I applied for the second time, again nikanyimwa because of visa. So babangu akaniambia tumejaribu, achana nayo, and I just said let me try the last time, the third time.
When you say visa, meaning you had gotten the chance but you didn't get the visa?
Yes, so what happens in this country is Ministry of Immigration and Ministry of Defence, they are two different entities. Ministry of Defence can call you, but Ministry of Immigration can say you're not fit to travel to the UK. But again, it's all government policies, if I'm to put it that way.
You tried the third time.
So the third time, finally, nikapata visa.
Surprisingly, landing in the UK was not the end of Kisila's recruitment journey.
When I landed here, what usually happens here, the letter that you received, unaenda nayo to a careers office. So huku kuna maofisi whereby unaweza ingia. I went to the careers office. Preparation is a key thing. So before they send you for the selection, they have to send you for a pre-selection to see kama uko sawa. So I went for a pre-selection. It was 1 day. I passed that. And then they sent me for the selection. It was a 2-day selection where you do many things. You do command structures. You are taught about history, or you learn about history. You do tests here and there. And then the final one is a fitness test where you have to do 2.4 kilometers. For the career that I was joining, which is combat, you have to do it under 9 minutes 30 seconds. Me, I got 8 minutes 32 seconds.
You are fit.
You have to be fit. You have to do 50 press-ups under 2 minutes and then 50 sit-ups under 2 minutes as well. You pass those 3 and there's no medical issue with you, you're in.
Wow.
And that is how I got selected. I joined in September 2008, and that is when I started my basic training north of England, mahali inaitwa Catterick Garrison. When you report to the training camp, that is when you start earning. The selection process is not like Kenya whereby unaenda siku moja na umechukuliwa. It took me 6 months. I know people who took 2 years because you go, you do the pre-selection, takes 2 months, go for the selection. After you are selected, they have to do your visa to stay longer because me, I came on a 6 months visa. They have to do your national insurance number, which is equivalent to a PIN number back in Kenya. They have to get your bank account because by law, you're not allowed to be paid by cash. It has to go to the account if you're working for the government. So hizi process zote, na ukienda kwa bank wanaweza sema we want 1, 2, 3. So it takes time before you are actually fit and fine to start the process of training.
So you mean all that time you're going through that, you're not earning anything?
You're not earning anything, you're on your own now. Which means also you don't have a work visa, so you're not allowed to work in the country.
Oh,
so you're receiving finances from outside the country.
Are there cases where you don't succeed and you have to go back home?
Yes. So many cases. People come with maybe a problem, a medical problem that was not picked in Kenya, but it gets picked in the country, and the doctor says, I cannot certify you. So unapata, you have to go back or find means to live after.
Fortunately for Kisila, this was not the case, and after successfully completing his training in March of 2009, emerging the best in his group, he was deployed to Germany.
When I got to Germany, we started training to deploy to Afghanistan, which we deployed in 2011 for my first time. And then again, we came back. I did a promotion course in 2012 where I was promoted to Lance Corporal, which is 1 rank. Went back again. We started the training again to go back to Afghanistan. We went back again in 2013, came back in 2014. And I remember sisi ndio tulikuwa the last British forces on the ground to come back.
Besides Germany and Afghanistan, Kisila has been deployed to many other countries.
One of the benefits I would say out of this job is the global experience. The fact that nimetembea in other countries, met other people, met other cultures. You come to learn a lot, you come to absorb a lot. And again, it's that tunnel vision whereby this job has given me a wider vision. And out of that wider vision, you meet people. Out of meeting people, you meet networks, and it just becomes a good network for you personally. Nimeenda Canada, nimeenda France, nimekuwa Germany itself. Nimetrain also with other forces, Australian forces. Nimetrain French forces as well, German forces, Nepalese forces. As in, it's broad. The only advantage is, one of the advantages job ni unapatana na watu na una travel sana. I have really dared abroad, yes.
I'm sure by now, most of you must be wondering about Corporal Kisila's appearance. Yes, unlike the clean-cut look we have come to associate with the military, Kisila is a bit unconventional.
One thing about the British Army is the ability to accommodate. So we have Sikhs who wear turbans in the army as well, who are serving. We have Rastafarians who are in the army, who have their long dreads. We also have different religions and culture. So for me, the regulation states that anything above the head is mine, and anything below the head, so between there and down, is for the Queen. So I shave that for the Queen, and I keep this for myself. So yes, which again, because of flexibility, my bosses have accommodated it.
Wow, what an interesting story, but more is yet to come right after the break. Stay with us.
You know, this is a village. Not a lot happens here around here.
Corporal Kisila Mawia has been serving as a member of Her Majesty's Forces since 2009. In that time, he has been able to rise through the ranks to become a respected member of the British Army and a decorated soldier.
The one on my left is for Afghanistan. For you serving Afghanistan, you get given a medal. Because I've been there twice, what the army does, it only gives you one for serving. Doesn't matter how long you are, you only get one. The other one is Silver Jubilee. Because Her Majesty had been enthroned for over 50 years, you get given a medal.
He's even had the pleasure of rubbing shoulders with royalty.
I've met Prince Charles twice. He came to visit us while we were in training one time, and we joked about Kenya because if you remember, the Queen became Queen while she was on holiday in Kenya. So because of her mother became Queen, then he knows a lot about Kenya. And yes, I have also met members of Parliament, local members of Parliament.
Despite all this, Kisila's love for Kenya runs deep. This is seen through the work he does with 254 HM Forces, an association of Kenyan veterans and serving members of Her Majesty's Forces that includes the Army, Royal Air Force and Royal Navy. According to Kisila, there are about 400 active Kenyan military men and women in the UK.
Wakenya wako wengi, tunapatanaga, Kenyans in the Park tunapatana. We have an association of Kenyans who are veterans and serving members of Her Majesty's Forces. We have a group, we meet once in a year. We just break bread, we eat. We have majirani tukipatana during the summer. Tunachoma nyama, tunakula na tunaendelea. Association yetu wale najua tuko registered is 180. I've been their chairman for the last 4 years. And because I represent this group, His Excellency, the Ambassador Mano ICPSU, we usually interact whereby talking about the men or the Kenyans who are serving or the veterans. I'm kind of the link or the go-to person. And recently we hold our annual barbecue where he gracefully and the wife and the daughter, they came to it. And we had a really blast time with the defense attaché Kanobanda. Tulikula nyama, tukacheza mziki za nyumbani. And we just had a good time. And he has been a really supportive person towards us. If there's any person who has passport issues, visa issues, you know, ukienda tu useme, I'm in the forces, mambo yako inafanywa virahisi.
But it is not all drills and tactics for Kisila. In his free time, Kisila doubles in a very interesting part-time.
On the weekends when I like whining and dining, I do DJing, I do entertainment. I have a company called Bless Entertainment, whereby we just offer entertainment services to locals in my area. I was privileged in 2017 to have done a comedy show where MC Jesse came and the locals really supported me. At 2019 we did Eric Omondi and Chipukizi as well, they came. And if you have a wedding, if you have a party, we provide entertainment for that. And comedy is a key thing because I believe in laughter. Me and MC Jesse, we grew up in church together, youth church. I remember in 2010 he challenged me, he told me, you're a DJ, are you still using your talent? And because of him, that is how I started my company. And he prodded me and he reminded me the parable of the talents, where the person was given the talent and because he didn't use the talent, God took that talent. So MC Jesse is the one who pushed me and he said, go back to DJing. And after a long time of not DJing, because I started DJing in church back in Kenya, in Winners Chapel, Nairobi. When I came to the army, nikaachana nayo. But MC Jesse akanipush, akaniambia niaje, start. I formed my company in 2014 and we've been doing events left, right and center. And it's been a success, we thank God. Yes, we had COVID last year, but we are slowly getting back.
Since arriving in the UK, Kisila has experienced a lot of success, but he does admit the journey has had its ups and downs.
Hii job yetu sana sana tunakuwaga nje. For example, one time tulikuwa Canada for 4 months and out of those 4 months, 2 months tulikuwa nje kwa msitu. So ni lazima utafute njia ya kuwa na baridi, manguo, chai, unaelewa. And funny thing is wazungu weather wako sawa. But now the other side is kama tukienda Afghanistan mahali kulikuwa na joto, mimi nilikuwa sawa na beba mzigo zangu ziko sawa, wazungu kidogo kidogo. But weather is the biggest challenge in this country.
There is also the challenge of starting a family here.
The culture ya huku ni people wanalipwa per hour. Si kama nyumbani whereby mtu analipwa mwisho wa mwezi. Na it doesn't matter if you've done 1 or 2 hours. But huku you calculate it by hour. So the nanny, the person who comes and looks after your children, anakuhesabia nimekaa na watoto wako from e time to e time. Sasa unapata wewe pale job umeenda, labda hata hiyo hours amefanya, I make financial sense. So at the end of the day, the nanny could actually have worked more hours than you. So you find nanny is getting more than you.
Currently, the father of 2 is happy with his life abroad, but hopes to use his experience to better his country.
My future plans is to carry on with my army career. And I will stay here maybe till my children are well established. And my plan is to settle back in Kenya. Mimi napenda joto, baridi sipendi. So hiyo ndio plan yangu.
Rudi Kenya as utakuwa unafanya nini?
Mimi I might go back, be a government advisor. That is my plan. My desire also was to serve the Kenya government. If I find a way where I can be an advisor to the government through defense or anything, that is my plan and that is my desire.
But even with all this happening, the avid Arsenal fan still insists that you have to be mentally prepared before coming here.
We miss home. Where I am, I'm very far from any Kenyans. Tunapatana na Kenya maybe once in a year in London for the Kenyans in the park and such things. So kuna ile tu Kenya we really miss. Growing up from home, coming here, you have to start your own according to the environment that you're with. If you're in the right job, you might be earning the right money, but is money enough? It's never enough. It's all a matter of how you make it enough for you. Yes. Because I know friends who are back in Kenya who are earning even more than me. Life is not always about the money. Me, I joined because it's something that I wanted.
life has surely come full circle for the military man with a degree in computer science from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And from his experience, this is his advice to anyone wishing to follow in his noble footsteps.
Just Google British Army careers, and then it will send you the link to the British Army website, which is armymod.co.uk. And when you go there, there is a careers option, and then you just choose different careers that is there. There's logistics, there's communication signals, there's medical corps, and then there's us, the combats, the infantry, the frontline soldiers. Depending what you want to join, you click, you apply. The only challenge comes about is application of visa. Upon they might deny you, but also you need to look at the laws, because laws in a change at the moment as to recruiting people from outside the UK to join the army. Because I know in the army they can recruit the Commonwealth. In the Air Force you have to have a British passport, and in the Navy you have to be a British citizen. Yes.
Any age limitation?
35 at the moment, but the key thing is, can you run? Yes. Can you do sit-ups and press-ups? Yes. Attitude is a key thing. Okay, on the right mindset, you will achieve this and even more. Because we find people come here for the purpose of joining, kujoin tu, but ukiingia apate job apate pesa. Lakini ukiingia unakuja kurealize kulala nje, hauogi siku 10. Kwa hiyo siku 10 labda umelala siku 2 3, umekuwa macho, mnakimbia na mamizigo nzito. You find it is not for you. As I say, mi kulelewa kakambia jeshi, nilikuwa already na the right mindset ya kuingia jeshi. So you find one of the things is one of my friends wata wako kwa jeshi, wanaingia, wana realize this is not for them na wanatoka. So do your history first. Understand what it entails so that when you enter, you are ready for it. Because if you sign, you have 4 years you have to give. So that is 4 years you can never get back. That is if you don't like it. But if you like it, fine and well. Yes. So right attitude, do your history, and always have a backup plan. Should this not happen, niko na plan B ya kurudia.
Wow, what an amazing story. And with that, we have come to the end of our show today. Many thanks to our guest, Corporal Kisila Mawia, currently serving in the British Army and the chair of the Association of Kenyans serving in the British Army, as well as the veterans. Keep it locked to Chams Media. See you next time. Daring Abroad is brought to you by our friends at Remotely. Download the Remotely app to send money back home.